Food, and today I want to crush on cauliflower pizza. And I have a special guest with me here today, Pizza Dave. He makes a delicious pizza crust out of cauliflower. Can you believe that? And it's delicious, trust me. Low carb. So Dave, why do you love this? And tell us how to start.
Well, pizza is one of my favorite foods. And, well, it's not all that healthy for you. So to have a healthy version of a pizza, that works for me. So, what you're going to want to do is take your cauliflower. And again, this recipe is mainly for the crust. And that's the thing, is you don't have as much of the flour and that extra stuff that isn't quite as healthy.
Right.
So this is going to be the main meat of the recipe.
Who knew? And cauliflower is pretty cheap, so.
It is. And what you're going to want is the florets. It's going to be the outside. Not so much the stalks. You can use a little bit of that as well. So you want to cut off large chunks, and you've got a few different ways to do it. But you're going to want to mince it up, and you can either use a box grater, you can go a step up and use a slap chop, which is what I use, or you can go all the way to the food processor. That's going to make your life real easy, real fast. You can do large amounts. If you have one, you're going to be able to fly. And basically with the slap chop, if that's what you use, because it is economical and still gets the job done quite well.
It's a workout.
You put a small amount in here, and you just do about a dozen hits, and you're going to end up with the florets, and it's very, very fine, you can see. And so you're going to want to put that into a microwave-safe bowl. And this recipe is going to make a 10 to 12 inch pizza, 10 to 12 inch round, and it's going to be for 1 to 2 persons. And I could sit here and probably eat 2 of the pizzas. And of course, you could double up the recipe and make a large one. You can make the crust and freeze it. So you can make all of this step in this process and have some ready to go at a moment's notice. Just add your sauce, your cheese, and your toppings, and you're good to go.
All right.
So what we're going to do is we're going to microwave this for about 6 to 8 minutes. And
you said about 3 cups of the mince is going to make the 10 to 12 inch?
Right.
Yes.
Yes. And this right here is a lot, and this is 2 cups. So you don't want to do too much at one time. So I usually do 2 cups, and I'll microwave this. And what that does is it brings out the moisture. And the moisture is what you don't want.
Right.
As I was developing this recipe, I found that out the hard way, and we had very, very soggy pizza crust. So we're going to put this in the microwave 6, 7 minutes, and we'll be back with you.
So the cauliflower is nice and warm.
Yes.
Cooked from the microwave.
And please do be careful. It does get quite hot. I do let it cool down for a few minutes so I can use it with my bare hands. But essentially, we've cooked it, got some of the moisture off, and accumulated. Now, the tough part is the cheesecloth. Now, I didn't know what cheesecloth was when I got it. But the original recipe that I've adapted to my own liking, I used the cheesecloth, and it comes in several layers. If you were to actually open this up, it would be about 8 feet long. So I double it over and double it over, and because if you just use one layer, it's going to rip right through when you actually strain it. So I sort of have a makeshift. I have a pot to collect the water, the moisture. I use my strainer, and that's just if I need any extra. But what I do is I lay my cheesecloth down like this, and I'll take. This usually takes about, for 2 cups, I'll do it in 2 or 3 batches. So it is hot, so be careful. So I'll put a little bit in, about half of that. And now, just roll it up. And you want to make sure that you twist off the top. Get a few good twists, that way when you squeeze it, it doesn't go right back up and out. You want to basically squeeze it all through and get the moisture out. And you can see it's dripping right through. And it is hot. So be careful if you need to let it, cool down a little bit more. Go for it. And
pour yourself, please.
And essentially, you can see it. The moisture is just coming out, and that's what you want to get out. It's the most important part, or else you're going to have soggy, flimsy pizza.
So just keep squeezing, and we'll do it in batches, and we'll be back to show you how to mix the crust. to mix. So tell us what we put in this.
So we have strained all of our water out with cheesecloth, and for 3 cups it reduces quite a lot.
It does.
Now the fun part. We're going to put all the ingredients together. Now we have our 3 cups worth of cauliflower florets. We're going to add our 1/2 cup shredded mozzarella, our 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. Every last little bit counts. Now, here is where you can play a little bit. You can use flour, just regular flour. One thing that I do like to use, it's a little healthier option, and is the almond meal or almond flour.
Oh, okay.
If you go to your local grocery store, they'll have generally a large selection of different meals and flours that you can use. I happen to like this. It's quite healthy. That is going to be 2 tablespoons of almond meal.
A great tip if you want to keep it gluten-free. Definitely
Yes.
using the other types of flour is good.
Gluten-free, and yeah, this is going to be for a lot of people who have preferences.
Yes,
This is going to be a good way to go. Now, you also have 1 egg. It just goes right in. Now, the fun part. Our spices. Now, what we have here is garlic powder, basil, dried oregano, and these are just out of the small, little dispensers.
Yeah, dried.
Do you use the crushed sea salt, ground black pepper? All of these 5, 1/2 teaspoon each, a piece. And then you're going to want a whole teaspoon of baking powder.
All right.
So we're going to add all these in, sparing none.
Great. What's your favorite Italian spice?
Mine?
Yeah, yours.
Oh, I'd have to say right.
Mine too.
And of course, all of these you can, if you have a preference, you like oregano a little more, you can play with these. But that's going to be the basis for the base amount. Now, what we do is
Mix it up.
play. And of course, you can use. After a little while, though, I do like to use my hands. You can use whatever you want. I did wash them first.
Keep it clean, people.
But to really get all of the egg throughout it, the egg is going to hold it together. That and the cheese. And so you're going to end up using your hands anyway when you put it on the pizza pan. Now, what I like to use is if you can show the pizza pan. This pizza pan here has holes in it. It's perforated. That's going to allow a lot of the heat to come up and cook the underside of the pizza as opposed to just the top. And now what you have to use, which I found out the hard way the first time, is parchment paper. Parchment paper, it won't stick. You don't need to put any non-stick spray or anything like that. It's quite amazing.
It's your friend.
So you put the parchment paper on there, and even being paper, it doesn't burn. It doesn't light on fire. I mean, it's
Use it frequently.
quite nice. So, once we get that all worked together, make a nice ball, bring it over to the center, and what I like to do is get everything nice compact together, make a nice ball, and this is the fun part. This is when you start to make your pizza. Form your crust, and I just work it all the way around. And for this recipe, for a 10 to 12 inch pizza, you're looking to have about 3/8 inch thick pizza.
Okay.
The crust.
It's
Now,
very technical.
if you wanted to go thicker, if you like the deep dish, then, well, you're going to have a really small pizza, or you can...
Deep dish cauliflower pizza.
There you go.
Yummy.
Or, if you're from the north, like I am, I grew up in New Hampshire, and was so used to the New York thin style pizza, I prefer it a little thinner.
Oh, thinner, yes.
Then, going to...
And so we're going to put it in the oven at what temperature?
Okay, I've had to play with this part of it as well to get it crispy, and you want to get it brown what I do is I get the oven to 375 and I will cook it for about 15 minutes.
Okay.
At the 15-minute mark, I increase the temperature. After it's cooked and browned a little bit, I increase the temperature to 450. And that takes a few minutes to get up there. And you just leave the crust in there. And so now we've got our crust there. And leave it in there for another, say, 10 minutes. Once you actually increase the temperature to 450, start the clock for another 10 minutes.
Okay.
And that will really make it crispy. And it takes that sogginess, that floppiness out, so you can actually eat it normally and not have to use a fork and a knife, which should never happen with a pizza.
No. This looks great. You're very good at this.
Oh.
So we're going to stick it in the oven, and we'll be back to throw the toppings on when it's ready.
All right, so our crust is out of the oven. It's still a little warm, but I'm going to just show you that this is what you're looking for. Nice and solid, not floppy or anything, not flimsy.
Looks perfect.
And a little warm. All right, so now the fun part is you can add whatever topping. One of the things that I think makes or breaks a pizza is the sauce. And before getting into the pizzas, I thought it was just marinara. I thought it was just pizza sauce. That's what or spaghetti sauce. That's what I thought you just used. But the store-bought pizza sauce you can actually find. So what I like to use is the fire roasted pizza sauce, and you can find it in your Italian cooking aisle.
All the other spaghetti sauce.
Yes, and this was a revelation to me. So we're going to go ahead and add the pizza sauce. And you're looking at, for a small little pizza like this, about a cup. And it should be good.
Depends on how saucy you are.
Yes, I like it saucy. All right. And I do like using the spoon. It's nice because you can get a nice... it's sort of, when it comes to the cooking and things like this, a perfectionist. I like a good looking product.
Yeah, you really take time because you can.
And when you see your patrons perk up when it's a beautiful pizza that's placed in front of them, well, that's what I look forward to. Satisfied customers.
Agreed.
All right, so got our pizza sauce. Next is going to be our cheese. So it's going to be about another cup of shredded mozzarella. And you can use whatever cheese you want, whether you like feta, goat cheese. You know, you can go to town with the cheeses.
Definitely. Fresh mozzarella.
And if you want to add some spices into this, some oreganos, basil, in with the pizza. I know the sauce has plenty of spices in there. If you wanted to add more,
We give it some fresh basil leaves.
Yes. And that is the fun part, is the toppings. I don't think, there are some exceptions, but there aren't too many wrong pizza toppings.
Except for barbecue sauce.
And anchovies.
Oh, I hate anchovies too. And it doesn't matter, like, you can only put on half the pizza, but the whole pizza is going to taste like anchovies. So
Right.
don't even breathe.
No. Same with olives. So, what I found out was, take these little deli-bought pepperonis. You don't need any oil or anything. You just put them in a skillet and cook them medium to high on the oven, on the range, for probably about 10 minutes a piece. Flip them, and you come out with a beautiful, crispy pepperoni.
Yeah, they look good.
So, if you like your pepperonis crispy, that's the way to go, and it's delicious. So, again, taking a little time, make it nice and pretty.
Thank you for doing everything, by the way.
Oh, I enjoy
Great, I'm
it.
just watching.
Well, yeah, you get to watch and then eat, and that's the best part.
Yes.
I'll do the hard work, it's all right. And there we are. Now, we're a little shy on pepperonis, but that's okay. We've got plenty of green peppers. And I like the green peppers. It's a pretty pizza. You can use the red peppers. You can use, this is from when I was a child. This was one of my favorite pizzas that my parents would buy. It's the pepperoni green pepper. It's always been a
Bell
child.
peppers are like my favorite vegetable.
Did you know that the red bell peppers have more vitamin C than an orange.
I did. It's my
True
job.
story.
It's my job to know.
You did know. Can't get anything by you. And then what I do like to do is add just a little bit of cheese, and I could use a little more on top. Go ahead and just sprinkle a healthy amount on there. Perfect.
There we go.
The other thing, if you like spices, I do like to add to the sauce and the crust, you can add crushed red peppers.
Oh, okay.
So if you want a little zip in there, that's the best way to do it.
Have a little punch. All right, and so we're going to put it back in the oven.
Yep.
For...
Well, that's going to be around 375 for about 20 minutes.
Okay.
And that's going to vary on your oven and how crispy you'd like it.
So
I like to let
in,
the cheese get brown and, you know, really darken up a bit.
So if you're impatient, you can definitely cook it less time.
Yes, you can.
All right, we'll be back with the finished product.
All right, our pizza's done.
It looks great.
Out of the oven. Again, personal sized, 10 to 12 inches. And for a good snack for 2 or 3 people, or just a meal for one person.
It looks great, and I know it tastes great because I've had it before. So thank you very much.
Oh, my treat. And now, the old Pizza Dave special. I use cooking shears.
To slice it.
Yes. We're going to slice this baby up and enjoy.
We are.